Hey guys, this is the story of Don Fury Studio. Hope you like it. So it's early in 1983, and I'm walking up the Bowery. The Bowery was a wide avenue in downtown New York that separated the East Village from Little Italy and NoHo. CBGB was on the Bowery. My studio was one block off the Bowery, and there were bars and clubs and restaurants as you walked uptown on the street. So I'm walking up past CBGB, and about one or two blocks after that, there's a club called Great Gildersleeves. And as I'm walking past the club, I hear some music coming off the club. And it's loud and it's fast, and I'm like, what is this? There's nobody at the front door. The door's wide open. And so instead of walking by, I decide to go in. So I walk in the club, and there's 30 skinny kids, couldn't have been more than 14 years old, going crazy in front of the stage. And I had never seen anything like that before. And the band was just ripping it. I mean, the energy coming off the stage was like white hot and just blazing, fast. And I was impressed, immediately. I was like, well, what am I watching here? And I'm going to keep watching it. So I stayed. I was like, I want to meet these guys. So I stayed, and after the set, the guitar player gets off, and I go up. I say, hi, my name's Don Fury. I got a studio a couple of blocks away from here. Let me know if you guys ever need to do any recording. So Vinny Stigma says, yeah, we're going to do an EP in a couple of months. I'll definitely call you. So I give him my number, and those 2 minutes, would change hardcore history. So the band was Agnostic Front, and the EP that Vinny was talking about was United Blood. In my mind, I had those two things in my memory. I had those things glued together. I meet Stigma, we do United Blood 2 weeks later. I think the reality is that Agnostic Front came in and did some rehearsing for a while before we recorded United Blood. And when we did record United Blood, we recorded it 4-track on a 4-track tape deck that my grandma Verena left me money to buy. So I wish I could get Verena a credit for being part of United Blood. So here, she's getting it right now. In any case, that was a really important record, obviously, for Agnostic Front and for the New York hardcore scene and for the studio and for me. We didn't have many punk hardcore bands in the studio before that. I had the Stimulators came down in '79, but not too many bands besides that you could call hardcore. From the point that United Blood came out on, we had hardcore bands all over the place. They're just nonstop. And most of them were in doing live cassette recordings because that was easy and quick and cheap. And we didn't do too many reel-to-reel recordings after that. And you can find those cassette recordings all over the place now. We did thousands of those sessions. So if you type in some band name and Don Fury demo, you're going to find all kinds of stuff that was recorded back at the studio over years, and a lot of that was because of United Blood. So about a year later, in 1984, Agnostic Front wanted to record Victim in Pain, and I knew that they needed to do a great record. They needed to do a fantastic record and have a good format for it. So I made a suggestion. I said to them, listen, why don't you get some money together to rent a 16-track tape deck. We'll get it down in the studio for a week, and I'll do the record for free. I didn't do that for the studio or anything like that. I did that because I wanted to make a great record for Agnostic Front, for the New York hardcore scene. That's it. And they liked that idea. So it was really cool how it worked. They ended up, when they got ready to make the record, they booked a hardcore matinee, probably with Carol, and made the money to rent the 16-track deck. So that's what we did. We called up the rental company, and they dropped the machine off on the sidewalk, and the studio was down some sidewalk hatches like that. So Roger and Vinny, and the deck was on a, on a chassis with a dolly, and it was big. So Vinny and Roger showed up to help me carry the deck down into our little basement studio. And we probably spent about a day getting it wired up and doing mic checks and things like that. And then we spent 3 days recording Victim in Pain. And that's 90% live. Roger was singing in the control room 5 feet away from me behind the control room door. And the band was playing live. And there was maybe a couple of overdubs here and there. But that's it. And then we spent the next 3 or 4 days mixing it. And it was an incredible record for the band. It was just, I knew it was going to be an important record in New York and for AF and for the hardcore scene. I didn't realize how important it was going to be for history and for the world. When I found out the record was released in Australia, I was just like, wow, I can't believe this. We recorded Victim in Pain in March of 1984, but it hadn't been mastered. So it took a while to get money together to do the mastering. And I'm not sure how they decided, but they made a good decision. They went kind of high-end and decided to go to Frankfurt Wayne Mastering Labs in Midtown New York, which is where Mike Sarsfield mastered the record. Dave Ratcage was putting out the first edition of Victim in Pain on Ratcage Records. Dave had a habit of wearing dresses, not kilts, dresses, not pants, just dresses. So the people going up were Roger, Vinny, Dave, and me, except I couldn't find a babysitter that day. And so I was going to bring 2 of my little kids, right? So we ended up taking the train uptown. So summer, really hot summer day, right? New Yorkers don't stop to look at anybody or anything. They're too busy. They've seen too much. They don't care. We get off the train. Vinny and Roger, 2 tattooed, fierce-looking skinheads, right? Me, I've got like pink spiky hair because I'm still playing in bands, and I got 2 little kids, one on either side of me. And Dave Ratcage wearing like a summer dress with probably a black beard. And we're walking down the street in Midtown Manhattan. I swear to you, every person on the block was like, just as we walked by. It was the funniest thing ever. And then, of course, we went up, and Mike Sarsfield did a great job mastering the record, and we decided to take a taxi home, and they had to squish me in next to Dave Ratcage, and Vinny and Roger were making fun of me the whole way home because I was squished next to Dave Ratcage. So I did a couple more projects with AF. One was the second Live at CBGB record, which was pretty cool. And then we did One Voice together. And One Voice is a really great record. Roger put everything into it. It's not a classic hardcore record. It's a brutal hard rock record. At least that's the way I look at it. I think that was a really fantastic record. So that's it, and I hope maybe we can get him back in the studio for an afternoon someday. Vinny, you're invited anytime. Maybe we'll do a record as raw and brutal as we used to. This is a great photo of AF by Jessica Bard on the original Ratcage release of Victim in Pain. It catches the band just right. Kabula's in the back, holding it down. Roger's up front, totally busting it. Stigma looks like he's getting ready to scalp somebody. And Dave just looks really freaking happy to be there behind the drum kit that afternoon. I think about these two records, United Blood and Victim in Pain. We probably spent an afternoon working on United Blood and a week working on Victim in Pain. And it's nice to think that these records left the little studio on 18 Spring Street and were embraced all over the world.